Back in the comments.
Keep calm. It's okay. We don't need to panic.
Hey,
oh
look at that. God. Look at that. Okay, well.
This is Monty in the Morning, the show Phoenix Magazine
We're starting over.
#1 talk radio show in Arizona. #1 during your morning commute. #1 whenever news breaks during your day. And #1 whenever and wherever you want to talk sports. Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
And I will say, welcome into the Monty Show. Hey, yo, man. This show is presented by The Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. Your friends at The Advocates want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And remember to be safe and avoid distracted driving as you make your way to mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, family, sons, daughters. Avoid distracting driving. And remember, if you are involved in an accident that involves negligent driving, somebody was distracted and hit you and your family, get to The Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com, because you need somebody to fight for you. Happy Thanksgiving from The Advocates. Appreciate you sticking with us through those problems. A lot of questions about the Jazz, which is where we started, and we will start again there with the Jazz, because this situation with Collin Sexton last night.
Right.
Let's ask you about this, and I wonder what you guys think about this, because this situation that we're showing you on the don't just shut your mouth. That's not what this is. Yeah. This is and it's not heated. That's passion. Yeah. This is a passionate exchange between a coach and a player who both have input. We call that an exchange of ideas and a conversation.
Yes.
And I love that. I think this is the exact reason. This is why we told you Will Hardy was a great hire.
Yeah.
And it's because of his demeanor. And I think that's huge.
Yeah.
I think my phone was buzzing, but I don't know. The point is, I love this. Now, I don't love that they lost. And I don't love, again, and we do not love box scores on this show.
Yeah.
But how many times are we going to talk about less than 30 assists with this team in losses? When this team loses, last night they had 22 dimes total. They lost. So I go back and I look at the Blazer win, because I think the Blazer win was actually a really good team win. And I say to myself, you only had 23 assists.
What are Sexton's numbers in that game?
Collin Sexton, 20 minutes, 2 of 5, 4 of 4 from the line, 9 points. But that's a game that Malik Beasley went off.
How many assists?
For
Sexton.
He had 4 dimes in that game. No assists last night, by the way. But my point on this Blazer game, and the reason I think this is so important, they shot 39 threes and they made 35% of them. And I think part of this is that you had a Blazer team that only got 27 minutes out of Dame. They shot 31%, and they only had 27 assists. So neither team played extremely well, right? Neither team played great. Look at the win over the Suns, 134-133, right? Now, that game, the Utah Jazz have 29 assists, but they only make 9 three-pointers. So how do you score 134 points? Well, that's because you shot 28 free throws and you took 94 shots from the floor, which means you were getting to the basket.
Yeah.
And you love that. And you look at, 32 assists, and they shot 51% from 3 in the Suns win.
Yeah.
Because you moved the ball, you got better looks from 3, and you made a bunch of threes in that game. And that, to me, is the key to success for this team. Now, again, in the Suns game, the thing that stands out to you is they gave up 49 points to Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Which is a little scary.
Yep.
Because that's on the heels of giving up 171 points to Joel Embiid.
Yep.
So that worries you defensively a little bit.
Yeah, they don't have a stopper defensively right now.
They have got to find a way to move the ball without Mike Conley. And what I'm concerned about is in the Blazer game, your assist numbers went down because Mike Conley was out. And in the game last night, I think ball movement was a huge problem in very tight moments because the Clippers got better defensively.
They always do. They always do.
That worries me a little bit.
Yeah, and I think the thing is like, again, I'm just going to keep going back to this point. The concept and the scheme is not that difficult to understand. And
It's
I'm not a basketball coach. I'm certainly not a professional basketball player. I'm just someone who observes the game, understands the game, and understands the game within the game. And I think that Collin Sexton does a really poor job right now of reading the space and the windows in which he needs to operate in. Like, you have to, again, whether we're talking G League or they're talking NBA, you have to be able to beat your man first.
Yes.
You got to be able to get by the first guy and then keep him on your hip and operate in the paint. And then when you can do that, the defense typically will collapse, and that's when you want to kick. And the thing is early in the season, the reason they had so much success is because teams were allowing them the easy kick to the corner. Like, the other thing we need to talk about, and I told you, first week of the season, scouting will catch up to the Jazz. They will not, teams they play won't allow them to just kick to the corner. That help defender is going to stay home, which means you're not going to have the kick to the corner pass on the drive on either hand, right? Like, that's not going to be available to you, which means now we have to innovate the offense a little bit. So now, instead of just beating your guys straight up and kicking it, okay, now we got to play some pick and roll. Now we got to add a little bit of complexity to keep the defense honest. And that's where I feel like this Collin Sexton conversation that's the core of this conversation. You're being selfish. You're trying to get your shot off the pick and roll rather than moving the ball and passing it in a timely fashion so we can swing the basketball. That to me, and again, I didn't hear the conversation. Again, this is all conjecture and speculation. But if I'm watching the game and then I watch the conversation, that to me had to be in that realm.
Yeah. Yep. This is an excellent question from Julian. Who would you rather play, Fontecchio or Gay?
Fontecchio all day.
The guy's a gifted shooter.
Fontecchio all day.
I don't think, and it's interesting, Rudy Gay's just not making it enough. I mean, I got news for you. I don't understand why he's on this team. Yeah. He's one of the guys, him and, by the way, as much love as we are espousing for Mike Conley, I still wonder why Mike Conley's on this team.
Well, at least Conley brings you some value, right? I wouldn't have re-signed him when they did. Number one. Number two, I wouldn't have had him on this team when I shipped out Don and Rudy and Bogey and Royce. I would have shipped out Mike Conley too, but that's just me. You know, they decided to keep him. They clearly wanted his veteran leadership with Sexton because they knew Sexton was going to be a bit of a project. So I can respect that decision, totally get it. But to me, the organization has some tough decisions to make come the trade deadline. And that's what I'm telling you. What's today's date? Today's the 22nd of November. You've got about a month here to evaluate this roster and make a decision on how you want to go about the deadline. Because once January gets here, the phone's going to start ringing, and it's going to ring a lot. So to me, I think you got to know. Like, you got to understand what are we doing with certain names, and how can we get Agbaji back up here so we can develop him and get him minutes too. Like, they're thinking about that.
Yeah, I wish I understood. The summer was so as much as I hated the Bogdanovich trade, you understand Kelly Olynyk's role on the team, right? I mean, I think like last night, Walker Kessler, it was really interesting to me that Walker Kessler played like 36 seconds. I think he played 7 minutes or something. Like that. 12 minutes, 2 of 2 from the floor, 2 boards, a dime, 4 points.
Yeah.
But he didn't have a place in this game. And what I think is so intriguing about Will Hardy also is he seems to understand matchups at the micro level. He understands why, Ivica Zubac is too much for Walker Kessler. I'm sorry, did we wake you up?
Yes, you did.
I'm sorry, my bad.
You did.
He understands why Walker Kessler can't handle Ivica Zubac. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of respect for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you look at a guy like Zubac, a double-double, 14 and 14, 6 offensive rebounds in a double-double, 2 dimes for him as well. I mean, you look at some of the numbers here. Did anybody notice Paul George did not play?
Yeah.
Did anybody notice that Kawhi Leonard... Hey, Claw.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Claw.
23 minutes, 8 points. And you gave up 121 to the Clippers.
Yeah.
That's an awful matchup
What'd
for you.
Reggie have?
Reggie! Reggie had 27 points. Norman Powell had 30. I thought, frankly, I know this is going to sound crazy. John Wall was their best player last night. 13 points. 5 boards, 8 dimes.
Yeah, nice game.
Like ton of turnovers, 8 turnovers. But I still maintain the Clippers are a nightmare matchup for the Jazz.
Well, they're a nightmare matchup for a lot of teams, too.
And that's without really Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, if we're being totally honest.
They haven't been able to climb the mountain with Paul George and Kawhi. They haven't gotten there yet.
Man, it's crazy. I don't know. It'll be interesting we'll see. I don't know. All right, let's go get some of your comments in here. Holabilly says, PY, all right, I'm trying, but damn. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Holabilly, telling you, man, that ayahuasca's going to do bad things to you, boy. Skeet says sometimes he seems to focus on the basket instead of breaking down the defense and finding his teammates.
Agreed.
Totally agree. I think that's right. Alex Cooley says refs overturning that blocking foul and one was one of the worst I've seen. I hate it. I don't disagree it was a bad call. I hate talking about refs in terms of did they win or lose you the game.
They
didn't.
Have consequence.
Dude, what I just said cost you the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm open to the conversation.
Is this the kicker?
I'm not all knowing, but when you give up 121 points to the Clips without PG and Kawhi, that's a problem. And again, Kawhi played last night, but 23 minutes and 8 points, and they still scored 121.
Yeah, Norman Powell was the problem last night.
Hello, that's not good.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, I think we're starting the love affair in the honeymoon with Vando is starting to wear off a little bit.
Yeah, well, he's got to develop, but
it's time. I think you're also starting to see his limitations. His limitations creeping in. Offensively, there are times where he's anonymous.
Yeah, and I think that again, this is the stuff that's going to keep you from being a 50-win team. Yeah. I mean, that's what you're dealing with this year, and I think Vando is he like you have to improve. Like the example I keep using is the process Giannis went through to have a jump shot, to have an effective mid-range game, to have the ability to be what's called a 3-level scorer, where Vando can drive and can score in the paint. He needs to be able to score at the free throw line extended, and then he needs to be able to shoot the 3. So to me, if I'm Vanderbilt, I'm not trying to work on my 3. I'm trying to work on my mid-range game. That because I have length and can shoot over guys.
Yep, I have girth too and length.
Right.
Caleb Harrison, what's up, my guy? How are you? Hope your job interview went well. Everybody send good vibes to Caleb. He had a job interview yesterday. He said, those young guys aren't really young guys. They all been in the league 3-4 years. Won't take them long to adjust. No, and I think that's the crazy thing about THT is that he's like 15, but he's been in the league.
Yeah, I think he's 21, dude.
He is 21.
Yeah.
And he's been in the league for, I think this is his 3rd year, at least his 3rd year. Like, I mean,
he's 21.
He's a guy that has a ton of upside, and he's just learning how to throw that booty around.
He's 6'4", 234 pounds.
And
dude.
He's just learning how to use it.
Yeah.
Because he's not the biggest guy, but he's strong, he's tough. If you let him get downhill on you, if you give him the ball on the elbow and he breaks the paint, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't mind dunking on you either. So, I mean, I think that's a great point, Caleb. I mean, that's really interesting. Jaron Eccles, good morning. Prepping the football at 50, Bob. Yeah. Yeah, we probably should do football at 50. 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show, presented by Papa Murphy's Pizza. See, I'm telling you can just vibe with it.
Dude. The beat is good, bro.
Vibe with it, yo. Football at 50, presented by Papa Murphy's. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off your purchase. $25 or more at Papa Murphy's Pizza. This Zach Wilson situation's fascinating. We had a pretty good 3-minute discussion about it.
Right.
I'm telling you, Zach Wilson's a bust. And I know I've been saying that for a minute, and you guys have all been telling me I'm a jerk. But I think you knew as soon as he got hurt when this season started, it was going to be an uphill climb.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, again, he's one of these guys that's arrogant and likes him some Zach Wilson, and that's a problem. Like, it's not a problem in sports to not be good enough. But it is a problem when you're not good enough and you think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's the issue right now. And I think we're seeing it with Kyler Murray. We're seeing it with Zach Wilson. We've seen it before with other guys. Like, and inevitably, Zach Wilson is either going to humble himself or he's going to get cut and he's going to go through a couple of teams and then flame out. Like, that's the process.
I wonder, and this again is just my opinion, but I wonder if does he end up You know, like all the former USC quarterbacks of the past that have moved around this league, like all the quarterbacks that hop around, the Jeff Georges of the world.
Yeah.
Pick the guy that's bopped around.
Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Mark Sanchez.
Carson Palmer. Does Zach Wilson ever get to Sam Darnold's level?
I don't know. Probably not.
Is he ever Baker Mayfield?
Probably not. Daniel Jones. Probably not.
Daniel Jones. I actually think Daniel Jones is a really solid.
Nah.
Wow.
He's all right.
Why do you hate who hurt you? Jacob, who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Why are you boned over Daniel Jones?
Because I think the guy has actually put in the work and he's improving, and he shows you that when you put Saquon Barkley back there, the cat can actually play a little bit. And oh, by the way, the Giants are 7-3.
Yeah.
Right?
Your mom can play back there when Saquon's healthy. Come on.
Oh, stop. Stop, dude.
Like, Saquon's one of the best backs in the league when he's healthy.
I don't disagree with that, but I look at Danny's numbers, and I see a guy that's completing at a career-high percentage. I see a guy that's not turning the football over as much as he had. I see a guy that's played a full schedule. Daniel Jones is actually operating as a quarterback in this league.
Dude, look at the passing yards.
Because they're a run-first team now, as they should be with Daniel Jones as their quarterback.
Okay, but what does that mean? Isn't that a caveat?
No. What that
means...
means...
one first team with Daniel Jones as your quarterback, doesn't that inherently then mean that he's not a dynamic passer?
No, not at all. What it means is that Daniel Jones is not ready to put a team on his back and carry them.
Yeah.
But I can tell you he is a far superior ready quarterback to Zachy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, Daniel Jones is a guy, and again, this is just my opinion. If you look at the worst passers in the league, if you look at Geno Smith.
GS7.
But look at Geno Smith's rise into Seattle. What did that take? That took him sitting behind a guy like Russ and then seizing on an opportunity.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield couldn't do that in Carolina. I don't know that Zach Wilson ever becomes even a serviceable NFL quarterback. And
he may not. Look, he may be a complete bust. He may be a complete waste of time. That may, in fact, happen. But it's just a shame with the kind of arm talent he has that he's not willing to let that thing go.
I think if you look at attempts in the league and you look at the guys, the Tom Brady's, who's thrown the most passes in the NFL, but look at the Jameis Winstons, the Mitch Trubisky's.
Yeah.
Okay, you look at the Taylor Heineke's.
Taylor Heineke.
Wow. But I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Is Zach Wilson better than any of those names at any time in his career? I don't know. Is he ever better than Taylor Heineke?
I want to say yes, but I can't.
I can't.
I can't.
He's probably could be better than Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, but Mitch Trubisky was a playoff quarterback, dude. Like
he could be better than Jameis Winston.
Yes.
He could be better than I don't know that he'll ever be Teddy Bridgewater. Will he ever be Cooper Rush, who I think is actually a solid quarterback? I don't think he will be.
Will he ever be Trevor Lawrence?
No, I think Trevor can actually throw the ball. And I don't think Trevor's scared to throw the ball. Here's a question. Will Justin Fields ever be one of those guys?
No.
He's hurt now, by the way. The non-throwing shoulder injuries day to day.
I thought guys could run all over the place and not get hurt. Like, I thought.
Ask Zachy Poo. Perfect example of that. Football at 50, 10 of the hour, every hour on the Monty Show is presented by our good friends at Papa Murphy's Pizza. Use the promo code Monty25 to get 25% off of Hog Heaven.
Papa Murphy's presents How to Change the Way You Pizza. Step 1, carefully knead dough. Step 2, artfully spread sauce. Step 3, add fresh mozzarella and assemble toppings. Step 4, realize we already did all that for you, so all you have to do is bake it. For a limited time only, get the Hog Heaven Pizza with Canadian bacon, ground sausage, and crispy bacon. Papa Murphy's, change the way you pizza.
Hi.
Hello.
Use the promo code Monty25. San Diego State Aztec says, "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I had pizza last night. It was not from Papa Murphy's."
Where's the block button? I mean, how are you this much of a casual guy? Like, dude.
What did we do? Now, we went somewhere for pizza last week, and we learned our lesson. It was not Papa Murphy's. And what did we say?
Because it's garbage.
What did we say? We should have gone to Papa Murphy's.
So get your facts straight.
Like, what were we thinking? And we say that all the time. Hey, because there's 1,000,001 pizza places. You're never going to go to the same place every time.
Yeah, pizza joints.
But every time I get pizza to the house and it's not Papa Murphy's, I'm always disappointed.
Y'all feel me?
I'm always disappointed. And this pizza even had ricotta cheese on it, and it still was not. It's just not Papa Murphy's with
I love
barbecue
the way you say
sauce.
ricotta cheese.
What?
You're like ricotta.
Ricotta cheese. Like, that's how you say it. Boyd Lake says another QB with Zach Wilson's numbers through 20 games, Troy Aikman. Oh, come on. Troy Aikman had it, and he was on terrible teams. The Jets are no longer a terrible team.
No,
that's what Zachy Poo
not.
supporters don't want to talk about. Just read Jaron Hall turned down an invitation to play in the Senior Bowl where Puka accepted the invitation. Makes you wonder if Hall may be considering staying at BYU. I don't think he is.
That would be such a mistake.
I don't think he is. I think they're both gone. And I think Puka knows that any chance he can get to showcase his explosiveness, he's going to do it. I think that Jaron Hall is very smart to limit himself. Go to the Combine and then show up on draft night. Don't go play in the Senior Bowl. Don't go play in a bunch of showcases. And maybe you're right. Maybe he turned it down because he is coming back. That would be a huge mistake. Huge mistake, in my opinion. Jaron Eccles, Zach Wilson is going to end up like Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Maybe.
Ooh, that could be ugly. All 110 of you that are watching this show right now, please give us a thumbs up right now. Hit the like button. That really helps. Les Wayman, good morning to you. I vibe with olives on my pizza. So you say hurtful things.
Apologize to that man.
You say hurtful things, Les.
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Mrs. Monty's a huge black olive eater. No wonder she's a freak on the dishwasher. Jones is a poor man's Tannehill, and that's not saying much.
Agreed.
I'd probably rather have Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong about that. Aztec says, good morning at Boyd Lake. Good morning, Boyd Lake.
You guys are so
Hey,
cute.
Boyd. Boyd, good to see you, my man. Guys, I hear the placeholder football 50 music.
Hey, guys.
Jake, are you ever going to change the
Nope.
Because Boyd sent us a list of license-free music.
That might be true. But I made a beat, and I'm sticking to it.
Jake wants to vibe.
Yeah, I'm sticking to it. You know what I mean?
You know, it is what it is. Oh, there's bots in the chat.
Bro, how?
There are bots
We
in
didn't
the
even
chat.
talk about anything.
They just, I mean, they're all about that. They're all about that volume, yo. And we appreciate
I'm sorry,
you guys.
I
by
thought
the way.
you said they're all about that volume, bro.
Yeah, dude. We've already had thousands of people watch the show today. You guys need to give us a thumbs up and a like. By the way, if we get to 9,000, oh boy.
Guy, what are you doing?
Oh,
what are
boy.
you doing right now? bro?
What's that drop from the basketball movie?
Dude,
With
what are you doing?
nothing. Just I just got an update from Nike. It's an Obsidian. I'm not getting it.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Right, but like what was the
an Air Jordan 1 Obsidian.
interesting?
Like, hey, you should.
So what
maybe
has
we
to
can-
happen for you to be allowed to get more shoes or whatever?
Dude, I'm out of room. Mrs. Monty's going to join us here in a bit on the show.
Through the technology,
technology,
links and stuff.
Thankfully, there's not many good shoes hitting the market this week.
Right.
But boy, there's some ones coming up that are like, my God.
Right.
Mrs. Monty, I think, honestly, will leave me if I buy another pair of shoes.
I doubt that.
Like I'm telling you, this varsity, the cherry Air Jordan 11.
dude. Yeah, that's a must-have.
I mean, that's crazy. But I don't know what it would take.
So I said,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm in a really good place. My shoe sobriety is going really well. It is. Eric C. says, good morning, Monty Town. The football at 50 music makes me want to hit a blunt.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you just
You
got to
know.
chill and,
Jaron Eccles says, what's the reasoning behind the Stars court being set up more to one side? Looks strange with the TV above the one hoop. Yeah, it is strange with the TV above the one hoop.
Yeah, I think the reason for that is the G League. My understanding is, this could be wrong. This is my understanding, though. My understanding is that the G League, the way they want it to look on TV, is a little bit more of a confined space because they don't want it to look like they're playing in this massive empty building, right? It's an optics
This is
thing.
the conundrum with the Maverick Center.
Yes.
This is a 10,000 seat arena at the Maverick Center.
Yeah.
And you're going to get 2,000 fans a game. Do you want 2,000 fans spread across 10,000 seats? Or do you want 2,000 fans spread across 3,000 seats?
Yeah.
And on TV, it looks like there's a good crowd there. That's why they do it. And I think it's really smart. So they had half the arena draped off. They had the floor pushed down to the one end. The big Jumbotron hangs above the one end of the floor. But they do it. And I'll tell you, we went to the G League last night.
Yeah.
And they do it well. I mean, they have a kids zone with all these bouncy houses. They sell old Jazz merchandise. So they had like yellow. They had the blue jersey from last year. Like
That's right, T.
Clarkson, Mike Conley. Like they have all kinds of good gear there, dude, that at a discount.
And it's cheap to come to
It
the
is.
games, dude. It's $14.
It is. Absolutely it is. Giggity says, what's stopping you, Eric, from rolling a blunt? He says, I have to go to work. What do you do for a living, Eric? See?
Yeah.
Where are you at? Doc J says Vando is faster and better upside version of Draymond Green. No, oh, stop.
Yes. I can't get down with that, dude.
So you really think that Jared Vanderbilt is ever a better player than Draymond Green was in his prime? You're serious with that? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Greg Hale says, USA, what a start. They ran the game yesterday, just frustrating about the tie. Well, you commit a stupid penalty in the area. What do you think you're going to get?
Yeah.
Like a stupid
you know,
penalty.
and it wasn't like it was on a rando. That was Gareth Bale, dude.
Well,
Come on.
and then you put Gareth Bale on the spot. What do you think he's going to do?
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to miss from there. But by the way,
Won't
did
drop
anybody
that
see
mother-
this morning, and we're talking about the World Cup, by the way, did anybody see this morning that Argentina lost to world 51st ranked
Hell yeah.
Saudi Arabia?
Hell yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with Lionel Messi in big games. The World Cup has not been his friend.
Nope.
And this is his fifth and likely final World Cup. Like it's incredible to me they lost that match. I cannot believe that. Nick Vela says, when will we talk about Utah football? What do you want to talk about? Season's over. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if they go to Colorado, I swear I hate playing Colorado the last game of the year. That's not good. All right. Where do you want to go? It's 8:07.
Mm-hmm.
Do we bring in Mrs. Monty and argue over the dishwasher?
Catch me outside. How about that?
Or do we talk about Amazon?
Both.
Okay, let's bring in Mrs. Monty. There she is. Hello, Lorraine. What? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh.
Hi.
Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine. No, I'm kidding. Me and Mrs. Monty have a little game where we call each other different names. I started it. It's probably dumb. We shouldn't do it anymore.
Right.
But
Fun.
yeah, it's fine. It is fine. So you're back at the crib this morning. The background looks oddly familiar, does it not? Does it not? Let's appease the Utah fans and put this background up.
There you go. There you go, Utah fan. The background is up. There you go.
There you go. The background is up. Yes, put the Utah mascot in the background as all of the BYU fans exit quickly. But let's talk about Amazon real quick here, because this story with Amazon Alexa going away. How much do you guys? I use Amazon Alexa every single day. Like, and when I say every day, I mean every single day. Like, I tell Alexa to turn on the lights. I tell her to, like, she does all kinds of stuff.
Alexa.
She tells me the weather. She tells, like, all these things. But the funny thing is, this week, Amazon had all these layoffs, and the Alexa device division is what they're calling it. Was, according to reports, the Alexa division was crushed by layoffs. And then a story came out by Business Insider that said Amazon has lost $10 billion on the Amazon group this year alone.
Jeez.
I said $10 billion on the Alexa group alone. Is it worth it?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, is it worth it? Like, I use my Alexa to turn the lights on and off. That's about it. You know what I mean? So, like, for Amazon, I'm not quite sure that it's worth it. But I mean, I don't use my Alexa to its full potential. So.
Mrs. Monty, is Amazon worth it? Whoa.
Amazon or Alexa? Like,
is Alexa worth? Amazon's absolutely a must-have.
You know what?
But
you know
like
what
using Amazon through
I'm
Alexa.
having trouble with right now. The first time I joined, my headset worked great, and now it's not working at all.
Okay.
So it's like I have a terrible, weird echo.
Okay.
You sound great.
You sound great. You
All
do.
right.
See, like we have these awkward setups now. We're like, I'm trying to figure out which one's better.
And when I joined earlier, the first time I joined the live stream link, it was the wrong link. But I was able to join, and I sat there, and I had my headset on, and the volume worked and everything. Perfect. But it made my keyboard disappear. So I figured out it was the wrong link, disconnected, but then I had no keyboard. Like, I couldn't text. I could only talk to text. So I just shut down, restart. Like, what happened?
You know, you're breaking stuff.
I thought about it, but...
So what did you say as we were laying in bed last night about the A word?
Yeah. So many of you probably know that I am connected to the Amazon organization. I do not work in that division. But with all of like the news of layoffs, and they did lay off people in devices, all of a sudden, my A word, and I can't say it because she's sitting on the desk, is like totally malfunctioning.
Yeah.
And I'm very disappointed in that because we do. I use it all the time. We ask it questions. We ask it for the weather. You can secure your house with it. We have a lot of routines for our smart home based off of it. And if it totally went away, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, I think we would be in trouble because I think we use it a lot. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't know how to. Everybody's saying that we need you. Okay, you want to have Mrs. Monty on her own? Okay, welcome to the Miss.
Well, hey, thanks. I appreciate having my own show.
Get out of here.
Me and
What are you talking about?
Kevin and Leo.
Yeah, you and Kevin just hanging out. I think Amazon is vitally important. I've said this all the time. I think Amazon to our life is vitally important. It's everything from Monster and Rockstar, protein bars. I mean, if you think about the stuff that we order on a regular basis, like the pants that I wear on a regular basis are available on Amazon. So I could subscribe, and every third month I could get a new pair of these pants.
Right.
That's how in depth Amazon is. So it's food. I think the thing that we saw with Amazon is all of this started when they bought Whole Foods.
Yep.
Honestly. And then I think the pandemic was really good for Amazon, and then all that hiring absolutely has come back to haunt them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree. Like issues started with Whole Foods. It just was not something they needed to get into, and I get why they did it. But I don't know. I think that was one bad decision. I think they're seeing that now, and they're trying to figure out what the heck to do because they also built like brand new, built from the ground up, these Amazon Fresh stores, and I don't know if the one in like the big one that's near Costa Mesa, I don't know if it's even opened yet, but it was built. So I don't know what they're doing with them.
I don't know either, but
they're not talking about, other than they did say that retail is one of the divisions that's been struggling.
Yeah, but I also think like the pandemic changed the way we operate in this world. If you think about it, everything that we do is different because of the pandemic. The way we grocery shopped, the way that we bought gas, the time of day we went out, the way we drove. Remember when the pandemic first started? All the empty streets. But then what happened? Everybody went home to work.
Yeah.
And there was this big hiring boom.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think the economy exploded and home prices went up. And now we're starting to see the residual downturn in that. And we're starting to see layoffs. We're starting to see that Amazon, whoever thought Amazon would ever lay anybody off? Like who? I mean, it's Amazon.
I don't think you predict those things. Like you go through it as a business, like you hire a lot, you get a little fat on your staffing, and then you have to chop it back down when times change.
But Mrs. Monty, you're passionate about this. Are layoffs necessarily a bad thing?
I don't think that they are, especially for Amazon. So I think what a lot of people don't realize is Amazon overhired, and they are one of the few companies that is very risk aligned. They will take a lot of risks in order to try to grow their business. So they took a lot of risk, and now that things are shifting, the economy is shifting, they had to become more risk averse. And so they're having to do some layoffs. But here's one thing that I told, I had a person. So one of the things I do is I mentor a lot of people at work. And then also I can be connected to them as just an advisor. So there's different roles for new hires. And I was connected to one person who came on in August as just her advisor, which just means I'm a safe place. I'm not on the team that she works on. I'm not mentoring her how to do her job. I'm her safe place to come to ask questions about culture, about, like things that she wouldn't get from her team or that she's just not comfortable asking her team. So she asked if I could talk yesterday. And this is what I told her with her concerns about layoffs is the what if it does happen, which, from what we understand, like our particular jobs aren't at risk. But if it does happen, take that what if not as a negative, but as a what if? What if I get laid off? What can I do next? And I used my sister as an example, who my sister owned a production company with a partner. They had it for 15 years. And they did movie premieres and Oscar parties, really glamorous, really fun, very hard work, but really, amazing stuff in California. And with the pandemic, none of that was happening. None at all.
But
there was no parties.
But I also think that it's an opportunity to...
That's the opportunity.
To grow.
Is to try something else. And
yes.
She's totally switched into a career in healthcare.
Yeah, I think...
And
I
you
think
do that.
what's the right way to put this? I'm a big believer in everything in the right time and space. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's accidents. Call that what you want, the destiny, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I don't think there's any accidents in this world. I just personally believe that, hey, this happened, you got to deal with it. And there's opportunity in all of that. I think sometimes we as people get too scared to recognize that.
George Klyavkov.
George Klyavkov, exactly right. I think sometimes we just get too scared to recognize that. And whether it's your sister or whoever you want to point to, everything can be positive as long as you allow that. But as far as Amazon goes, do you ever think Alexa goes away? Because I don't think it ever totally goes away. It's too integrated.
Yeah, I don't think it will totally go away. But what they're not going to do is continue to like develop crazy devices. I don't know if you knew, like recently they developed like a little robot, can wheel around your house. It has a
dude. I think robots are terrifying.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
But I mean, it's like small though. It's not like the robot dog that can open the door. That everybody hated. People were terrified by that dog.
Wow. But let's be honest though. Look at that comment from San Diego State. I think this is a really good point. Alexa and all of the Hey Google and Hey Siri and they all listen, and I just don't like it. And Amazon specifically, I've read a lot about this. You can make Amazon stop. You can make Alexa stop recording the things you say.
Infowars.com.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work as well if you do that. It does not work, in my opinion. It doesn't work as well if you do that.
Maybe we don't need Alexas in our house.
How about that? I think they make your life so much easier.
How about that?
The issue is that Amazon hasn't figured out how to make money off of Alexa. They have spent so much money, and Bezos was so into it. This is my baby. This is my baby. This is my baby. Rocket shaped like a penis. Okay, I'm going to go over here and play with my penis ship. And now all of a sudden, Andy Jassy, who's the new boss at Amazon, he doesn't have the penis fixation, but he also doesn't have the Alexa fixation.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that, for better or for worse, he's a guy who wants to make money. And losing $10 billion a year on anything is not small change. And I don't care how big your company is.
Yeah.
Somebody's paying the price for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it'll ever go away. I just think they're going to stop doing like all kinds of crazy things with it. I think they will slow down the development and they will still keep a lot of the functionality.
Yep. All right. MM says, like the video. Yes, you guys should all hit like,
go.
please. If all 112 of you hit like, the channel would explode. So please do that. Neville93 says, I love Jordans and Nike. I feel like those shoes should only exist in this world.
Correct.
He's saying that because I was saying that my Jordan sobriety is intact and that Mrs. Monty will dump my ass, which she's already considering doing over dog vomit.
Yes.
How close to just walking out of the house were you the other night when the dog threw up?
No. See, it wasn't just that the dog threw up.
Oh, God.
It's that I had gone upstairs to get ready for bed, and the dog threw up while you were 8 feet from him, and you called me.
No, I did not call you. No, I did not. See? And this is what happens. I did not call you. I was talking to the dog. He was... Okay, so not to be gross.
Like, Rhino, what are you doing?
I warn you.
This is next level.
When a dog throws up and they eat their vomit, it sounds differently than them licking their own shaft, right? Like, I think we can all agree on that. There's just a different sound to licking up chunky vomit.
Licking your own shaft.
Hey, if I could do it, I would.
Do it if you could.
If I could do it, Mrs. Monty would have no purpose in life, but I can't.
Right,
so she does.
right.
I'm totally kidding.
Right.
So she's also a fabulous cook. Anyway, the point, it probably came at, I'm totally kidding. But you know how it sounds when a dog is eating their own
terrible,
vomit, right?
dude. It's
I said, my dog's name is Rhino. I was like, Rhino, what are you doing? And she's like, did he throw up? And she comes running downstairs. When she came downstairs, I was standing over the dog, about to kick him out of his bed. And what I was going to do is I was going to take the blanket that he threw up on, and I was going to take it outside to the garbage can and shake it off. And she like basically bullies me out of the way and takes over the situation. And then is like, hey, you're a lazy effer. I'm tired of doing everything at the house. And and fat ass, you don't know how to load a dishwasher. That was how the conversation ended. Then we went to bed. I slept on my side of the bed, cold, lonely, and then got up and went to work.
Yeah, next question.
Notice she's not denying that. Wow. It's not really what happened.
Very simplified version, but
it is.
Okay.
But I didn't call. I wasn't like, hey, look, hey, how? Dog threw up. Time to come downstairs.
Meatloaf.
Mom! Like, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. That's not. But the dishwasher thing is actually one of these things where it's a really stupid argument. And by the way, and I said this on the show while Mrs. Monty was like in a Monty Show blackout yesterday, didn't even want to acknowledge my existence. I said on the show yesterday, this was totally my fault.
Yeah,
I've been busy. I've been absorbed in whatever it is we're doing. And Mrs. Monty works at home, so it's in your face all day. So you're dealing with the dog who's sick, giving him medicine, taking him to the vet, like all this stuff. I need to be better. I need to do the dishes. I need to take the garbage out. I need to kick the dog in the balls when he throws up on his bed. Right? I need to do this
He doesn't
stuff.
have balls, by the way.
That's right. I need to kick him where his taint is because he is.
And I honestly feel like you would have taken the blanket out and thrown it in the trash.
No.
You would have been like, what do we do with this?
Yeah,
because it's garbage.
No, I would not have thrown it out. I would have thrown the vomit in the trash, and I would have taken the blanket downstairs and put it in the laundry is what I would have done. And I'm like 5 days behind on my laundry, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like at the bottom of the barrel. I'm wearing like the boxers that are 2 sizes too big now because I've lost some weight. So I'm wearing boxers that like fall off of me. And it's at that point where you're like, oh, how dirty is too dirty to rewear boxer shorts, right? Like that's, thankfully I'm a glutton and I have like 8,000 pairs of boxer shorts. But
Never.
In general, and Mrs. Monty, I don't know if you'll back me up on this. In general, on the regular, when I was at home all the time, I'm actually a pretty good domestic partner. Like, I'll do the dishes. I don't mind.
You did the dishes last night.
Yeah, I don't mind. Generally, Mrs. Monty and I, because we order from Amazon pretty much everything we do. So we'll like cut the boxes up together, put them in the recycle bin. But I have not been home very often. Why are you pausing? Are you saying that's not true?
Casual.
Are you saying that's not true? I make my bed every day. I do my own laundry.
Wait, you made it sound like you have 2 separate beds.
No, but when you get out of bed, I get out of bed at 4 a.m.
Right.
And depending on where Mrs. Monty is laying, I will make my side of the bed. But lately, because it's been cold, she kind of grabs the blanket, so I can't make my side of the bed.
Yeah, like we all do. Yeah, you got to cuddle up. Yeah.
But 2 days ago, what did I do? I came home to change my clothes, and the bed was a flippant disaster because the gal that cleans our house has no clue or how to make a bed.
I don't know how difficult that is.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And listen, if you need a cleaning person in your home, call me.
We got the hookup.
I've got the best cleaning lady.
Hey, Claw.
Jake, you use the same clean lady. Does she do the same BS to your sheets? Oh, that's right. You don't use sheets.
I don't.
Jake,
I don't have this problem.
See, Jake is a
I
guy.
don't have this problem.
Jake is a guy who doesn't make his bed
sheets.
because
I don't do top sheets.
But
that's
you
not my
also
thing, dude.
don't have blankets or sheets on your bed. You just have all these stains from procreation.
No, that's not
so
true.
you kind of keep yourself warm with those stains.
No,
like when you're a fully functioning,
I think this is a question for the comments because Jake does not use a flat.
I'm not a top sheet guy.
I don't understand. So you use a fitted sheet and a blanket.
Yep.
No, I don't get it.
2 blankets actually.
No, man.
Weird, man. It's weird.
I don't think so.
I
I
would
don't
like
think so.
comments if that's what other people
I
do.
don't.
We've done this before in the comments, and I'm pretty sure there are people who backed me up about no top sheet.
And my Monty fan says, Monty hiding at the office like a real man. We've all done it.
Damn. Damn.
The problem is, Mrs. Monty tends to not communicate when she's upset about something. So I'll find out about it in like a week.
Yeah,
and
please
then
respect my privacy.
when I find out about it, it's like a powder keg. So what happened, and I told this story on the show yesterday, sorry to be redundant. The dog threw up the other night.
Right.
She comes downstairs. It's chicken, rice, and vegetables.
And I think that also contributed, right? Because on the show yesterday,
Yes.
you had said you went to the store after a long day and you had like gone out of your way
Oh.
to handle the
The
dog.
whole sequence of events.
Yes,
I
it was.
planned
And
on
Mrs.
staying home on
Monty,
Sunday, so
to
I
tell
could get
you-
things done, right?
Right.
Because we've been really busy and we've worked full time. Plus, we have the show and the Grizzlies and all these things. So I planned on staying home on Sunday, not going to the game.
right.
There was a need for me to actually go to the game, so I didn't get to do all the things that I had planned on doing because it ends up being, it was I got there at 12:45 and we didn't leave until 6:30, 7 o'clock. Right?
Yeah.
So
We didn't get home the other night because we stopped at the store. We didn't get home till 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the lady, what Mrs. Monty did was, because our dog has had coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
what she did is she boiled chicken, she made brown rice, and she boiled vegetables.
The coronavirus.
And what I did was, I'm a complete jackass. The dog throws it up, and she's like standing over the vomit. And I'm like, you can't give him vegetables.
That's what fucking
Just
gets
like
me
a-
to fuck off.
Well, just like an idiot, I'm like, I put my hand on her back, and I'm like, oh, babe, you can't give him vegetables. Instead of being like, hey, not it. And I've done so well for so long at not saying the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Sometimes I think I just say shit.
Right? Not saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like, wow, that outfit makes you look really fat. But your hair looks great today. Right? Like, you don't say the wrong thing at the wrong time.
I don't think you should ever say to a woman that makes you look fat.
Okay, portly, same thing. The point is, I'm never that guy. I never do that.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah,
But
my
the
bad.
point is, in that moment, I should have just been like, "Oh, bummer. Hey, let me clean this up. Let me handle this. You've been dealing with the dog for like a week. Let me get this."
Mm-hmm.
Ding.
And instead,
And
she
when I woke
goes.
up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
So instead, she goes in the full like warp speed control freak and like picks up the bed and like just That's what you do though.
Like, but you're not the guy who does stuff in advance. I have to ask you to do things other
Like
than
what?
your laundry and making the bed in the morning. Like I have to say, like, hey, we have to do the recycling today, like the cardboard boxes. Hey, I even pulled the trash cans closest to our house to where all we have to do is go out the back door and put shit in the trash can.
But I do that. But I think
no, I had to tell you this weekend. You dropped it on the floor by the door in the back, like, and I'm
a cardboard box.
Has to go take it out. Like, you don't think in advance. You're not like, man, Britt's really had a hard time with the dog. She's been crying. She's so upset that he.
But have I not? Wait a minute.
Manage everything.
But that's not fair. I actually went out of my way to thank you for doing all of that. I tell you that every day. Hey, I really appreciate that you've done this.
Right. You can thank me all you want, but maybe sometimes what you have to do is say, let me handle it for you today. I know you've been doing a lot of this. Let me handle that.
Yeah. I'm between a rock and a hard place, though.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Because you are very much a control freak about certain things. Like, I am not going to tell you not to feed the dog vegetables. Because you'll be like, ah. It's like I gave the example of the chemicals in the hot tub. I just have to let you do that.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Because you just want to pour in more chlorine. You're like,
no, I don't.
Pour more chlorine in it.
No.
Just pour more chlorine in it. And it's like, no, it needs alkalinity. You got to put the alkalinity in.
This is why I say, just handle it.
Your solution for the hot tub is pour more chlorine.
No, it's not.
And pour more anti-foam.
It's not. No, see, it's not that, and this is where we get into trouble. Because it's not. My solution is not. Your solution is don't listen to what he's saying. Just tell him how he's wrong and then go and do it yourself. And in these little situations, this is where it becomes a problem. 9 days out of 10, this is not a problem. But
what's the process for the dog getting well? How long are they saying this is going to take?
Too long. Too fucking long. That's how long. And he's pretty well now. He's probably 80%.
Why is his stomach so sensitive?
Because he has coronavirus. He had a really, really serious case of the flu.
Yeah.
And, we gave him some bleach and we stuck light up his ass like the president told us to, and it just upset his stomach.
He is a sick puppy.
It's actually not what we did. But I think he just has a stomach thing, and he's an older dog. He's 13 years old.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you feed him, he will throw it up.
Yeah. And
so what Mrs. Monty did was exactly what you should have done. We made him some really good, hearty protein food.
Yeah.
It just, the vegetable is too much volume. When a dog is sick, and I was reading, the problem is, I read too much and I don't communicate enough.
Yeah.
And I really need to just stop reading so much. Like I was reading about what you feed a sick dog. Rice and chicken is perfect. Rice and boiled, plain, not seasoned, no butter, no oil, plain ass boiled chicken.
What she was doing.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
absolute. That's why I said you in that moment you just can't say anything, and at all you shouldn't say anything because you've really done a great job taking care of the dog.
In life, there's a lot of opportunities to not say things that will make things way easier. For you.
I think I've gotten a lot better at that.
Yeah,
just
not the other night with the dog. That's all.
No, no. And
so
of course,
happen.
It just comes back to bite.
I like Huey and the Hewlett's comment.
The what?
Comments.
Comments. I'm sorry. Okay, my bad.
Huey and the Hewlett says, just say, yes, dear. Problem solved.
I don't see that. Okay.
Wait, scroll down.
That's fine.
Scroll down.
San Diego State Aztec says, Utah Jazz coach player friction optics. Mrs. Monty, friction optics are far more engaging. Where's my popcorn? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boyd Lake says vegetable equals fiber. But for dogs, the dog doesn't actually, when their stomach's upset, they need to dogs have very, very complex ecosystems in their gut. And when you add sickness to it, it's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Jeremy Bolton says, my wife has the superpower of remembering everything I did that she didn't like from the day we met 17 years ago. Ding. Mrs. Monty is wonderful in that she will rarely say, hey, you did this 36 years ago.
Back is broken.
But the thing that drives me crazy, it's the dishwasher example. honestly, I don't mind loading the dishwasher.
Right.
I am on the record as saying I hate doing dishes. And like the dishes is one of these stupid things that we just don't argue about anymore because I don't argue about it.
Right.
When she says, hey, will you load the dishwasher? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Or the other night, she's like, can you empty the dishwasher? Yes, sure, no problem. And like last night, I'm loading the dishwasher. Mrs. Monty never rinses her dishes, ever. So I have to like... Am I wrong?
Yes,
You're
are
really
wrong.
denying
And
this.
you know what happens? Not only do I almost always rinse my dishes, I then go into the kitchen after you guys cooked and there's still a pan with chicken grease. And so I cleaned the pan up.
Well, I was unaware of that. I thought Jake had told me he had done it. So, because we loaded all, like, I loaded the dishwasher. We made our dinner. And he told me he loaded the dishwasher. So I thought he had taken care of it. I didn't even know that was an issue. Because when I came into the kitchen, the pan was clean on the stove.
I just take care of things because I get tired of like having asked. I get tired of having.
But that doesn't change the fact that you don't rinse your dishes out. So one of the things that I cannot stand is the smell of old coffee. Like I just cannot do it. And this is where it started for me. Like when we used to share a house with my sister-in-law in LA, and they're like passionate coffee drinkers. I cannot stand like a Starbucks cup that's been in there for like half a day with old coffee in it. You open that up and I might as well just vomit everywhere. Like it is really hard for me, but I don't mind doing it.
How it goes.
But I'll load the dishwasher and she will come and fix everything that I've done. And I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, if you want to load the dishwasher, go for it. Like, I don't mind like doing the counters. Generally, when we clean the kitchen together, I'll do all the counters in the stove. I'll take the garbage out. You know, if the floor's bad, I'll like get a Swiffer or something like that. Like, it's not really, I don't mind cleaning at all. Before we had like the shark vacuum thing, I used to be the guy that would vacuum. That was
and
like
you know
my
what?
thing.
I actually have turned it off. I hate having to clean it. I'm over having to do anything that I don't have to do right now. So I turned it off. Because you have to empty it every single day, or all it does is just roll around. It can't suck up any more like air and dust. So
Tom says, "I'm glad to be out of a relationship. This conversation is giving me PTSD." But again, we don't have a bad relationship. Our relationship is usually really easy.
Yeah,
it's just that you go through these phases in life.
Yeah,
you know. And, you know, you go to a Thai massage place like Bob Kraft and everything feels better. It is what it is.
I'm a man.
No. Okay, apparently not. And Mrs. Monty is sipping when Monty is talking about how he hates coffee.
Yeah.
Truth. That's not wrong. And I don't even begrudge you for that. But the not rinsing your dish thing drives me crazy. Because like I don't know what it is. I'm a weirdo about certain things. I freely admit it. Like last night, I had trouble cleaning. Like we like chips and salsa and guac in our house. So I think it was guac anyway. Mrs. Monty had put guac into like a ramekin. And it had been sitting there all day. So it was like this dry, gross looking. And like I had trouble looking at it. Like I tried to like spray it out.
What is wrong?
I don't know. Like there's just certain things like that like dried milk in a cereal bowl. It really weirds me out. Like it just, I'm just a weird guy about certain things. I could never, I have a terrible gag reflex is what I want to say, but it's fine. The dog is like Conley. He's on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. If we're not getting his ass vacuumed, he's throwing up all over the house. Yeah. Like,
dude, having an older dog is, I love him dearly, but this has been rough. The Corona thing has been really rough. Really, really rough. I mean, he like lays there and whines and shakes and doesn't move, and then he can't walk very far.
Yes,
it's been rough. And then of course, I really enjoy how many times a week I've cleaned blankets and carpets and.
But all of this to say that you got to get out of the house more. Like I've tried to take her to a Jazz game tomorrow night. She said no. I'm like, hey. So now I'm not going to the Jazz game. We're gonna do a date night because you have to get out of the house. Like yesterday, we were snowboarding, and Mrs. Monty couldn't go.
But we dealt with this at Yelp.
We did.
Getting out of the house is crucial.
It starts to ride on you that you're in the house all the time, And you start noticing every crack in the drywall. You start noticing that the vacuum has to be emptied every day. And it's like we were snowboarding yesterday. I was like, I have to do something for her. Like we need to get you some relief. And sending flowers isn't going to get you that relief.
No.
It's not. So sending you flowers is worthless. But, so we thought about, hey, maybe just doing a date night. Hey, let's go to a Jazz game. Hey, and of course, Mrs. Monty's like, no, I'm not going to the Jazz game. Not doing it.
What would you like to do?
A date night 3-wheel it with Jake?
Huh?
Or is Jake bringing his girlfriend?
No, man. We're not ready for that conversation yet.
Well, then,
it would just be me and you.
Inviting me to the Jazz game with you and Jake is not really the date night.
Okay, so let's go to the Jazz game by herself. It's Jazz and Pistons. She doesn't want to go to the Jazz, and that's fine.
Here's the problem. We're going snowboarding on Thursday. I need to have time to set up my board because the other board is not working. When am I going to have time? Yeah,
you need to get out of the house. I'm telling you, you work at home, you're in the house all day long by yourself. You got to get I just working at home was cool for a while. I'm telling you, it's so hard when you're home all day long. And you're right. I think the weight of this really impacted me at Yelp, and I didn't realize it until the end. Because it's brutal when you're home all day.
The balance of getting out, it just sneaks up on you.
Yeah, and I can tell you it's refreshing to have social interaction. It's really weird to say that out loud, but it's refreshing, and we don't see many other people if we're being totally honest. But it's refreshing to have social interaction. Now, I've also gotten sick twice in the last 10 weeks because of social interaction, but it's better than sitting in the house all day. And I'm trying to get you out. That's what I'm trying to do. And little date nights and stuff like that, I think are important. Yeah. Little weekend trips, I think are important. But I also agree that you need to have time to do your snowboard. So, yeah. Kenai said this is the same thing all relationships go through. Yes, it is.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So, I'm telling you, being in love is a choice. And it's not an easy choice every day. Trust me.
Yeah.
It is a challenge. When you've been married for how long have we been married? 37 years? 48 years? Something like that?
We got married at 2 years old.
Yeah. Exactly right. It was preordained.
No, arranged marriage. Anyways, hey, Neville, where's Blue Iguana? We go to Red Iguana.
Blue Iguana is a Tex-Mex restaurant. It's a tech. It's not. Have we been to Blue Iguana? We have been to Blue Iguana here. You've been there. Don't they have a little statue in front, or is that the one in Phoenix?
I don't.
It all runs together. It does.
I know Red Iguana. That's it.
Yeah, it does. It all runs together. Okay, real quick on Alexa. Where did we ever finish on Alexa? How important is Alexa in our lives?
It's not that important to me.
It's not that important.
Man. It's not.
For me, with all the smart home stuff that we have with the lighting and I really like to listen to music. I use it for that. I would be bummed if it was gone.
All right, let's talk about DraftKings and gambling because I think this is also a really big one. I don't know how many people saw this. Speaking of struggles with tech companies, DraftKings had an account security issue over the weekend, and their users lost a total of $300,000 to hackers. What comes down to hackers. And what it sounds like is that DraftKings users got phished, and a third party was able to gain access to multiple accounts and stole an estimated total, according to reports, of $300,000 from users. So the question becomes, and I know we've talked a lot about this. I love fantasy sports. I love gambling lines. I love talking about games in terms of, hey, the spread, they're favored by 5 or the number that I love so much is 6.5. Are they going to win by a touchdown or are they not?
Yeah.
I love those conversations. But the thing that it comes down to is, our friend, the prolific gambler, doesn't use DraftKings here in Utah.
No.
He uses a bookie.
Again, human interaction.
Right? So Are you somebody that, embraces things like DraftKings? Because I can tell you, having been a heavy user of DraftKings in the past, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not a huge DraftKings guy or a gambler at all. It's just not me. I enjoy sport for what it is, but I think if I was going to be a gambler, I probably would want a human. I probably would. If that was going to be like a hobby for me, I'd probably need to form a relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
So I find it funny that they have to confess that they lost 300,000, due to fishing.
Mm-hmm.
But how much money are people losing every day on DraftKings?
Yeah, but the difference is DraftKings lost $300,000 and the people lost $300,000 because where would that money have ultimately gone? Well, it would have been wagered on sports or fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, everybody lost. And for me, I think the thing, and this is just me, I think the thing here is you got to change your passwords on a regular basis. And again, Mrs. Monty and I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that I have to have 1,000 passwords and I can never remember them.
And I feel like Apple rolled out the keychain app to save all your passwords, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work the way it was intended to work. And I think, I don't know. I just don't. Gambling has never been a huge passion, and I get that for some people, it's a big deal, and it's like it makes the game interesting. But look, man, if you lose your password to your gambling account, I don't know what to tell you. That's your money. You decide to lose your password. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say to you.
Really, I am to no end disappointed with how much people are under attack every single day from phishing. I hear. So there's a guy that I follow on Instagram who had to post that all of the fake accounts that are impersonating him and telling people, don't follow them. They are not me. I've reported them. They are still live and they're asking people for money. And, it just gets it gets kind of depressing sometimes when it's like, Jesus, another phishing thing. Someone else is trying to steal your money. And DraftKings, their revenue is over $2 billion a year. So
they're a huge company.
Kind of not sad that they lost 300,000. I'm sad for their users, but
I feel bad about it. I absolutely feel. I mean, nobody deserves to have their money taken. It's the lowest of the low.
But they gotta protect it, and the hard part is. When you work at a company, they make you watch that security video where it's how to recognize phishing. Don't give your passwords out. We would never do this. I feel like there needs to be, and I'm sure there probably is, that kind of a free course that people need to retake every few years, because especially older people are so susceptible to this kind of attack.
Yeah.
Hey, DraftKings, we have to have you update your password. They send you an email. Hey, we're redoing our security. You need.
But
to
at what point? Wait.
Password. Click this link.
But at what point do we stop doing that? Because I never do that. I never do that. I will never. If what's a company I do business with? RC Willie.
Wells Fargo sends.
Wells Fargo.
I am not clicking any link in that email. I will go to the site and sign in if it's something that I need to handle. Exactly right.
By the way, there's some folks who are having quite the discussion about what to do on date night. Kenai Johnson says, me and the kiddos at junior jazz game tomorrow. Do something Mrs. Monty wants to do. I am. Did I not text you this morning and ask you about date night?
You did. You know what I like to do, though? I like to do things I'd rather not spend the money on going to a jazz game. I'd rather play pool, play darts, go bowling, throw axes.
Go cut down a Christmas tree in the wilderness. Right? I mean, we could do that.
I've said, hey, the break is right over there. We should go and play pool, play shuffleboard, play.
And see, I'd rather go get sushi and have a good conversation. I would. I'm always in that, but I don't.
You're playing pool.
Yeah, I'd like to go shooting.
Phone. That's the thing. It's I think we go to sushi and we both end up looking at our phone, posting a picture of the food. But you can't be looking at your phone while you're playing pool.
No, you can't. And I that's why I like shooting. I like going, and we need. Yeah, exactly. And we need to shoot our guns.
Yeah.
So, but there's this big argument about Kenai Johnson's like, Jake, kick rocks, no third wheel tonight, bro.
Dude,
no.
I don't need to be a third wheel, man. Go and have your date night. Like, go. I'll be fine.
Yeah,
I will be fine.
NY Monty fan says, my problem is when I'm on the road, my wife thinks I'm out messing around. 99% of the time, I'm working until midnight, ordering nasty pizza to my hotel room.
Wow.
You know. Well, Kurt Myers, I saw this story. The United States is testing global digital currency to replace a dollar. Do you trust a Bitcoin currency? No, I'll never.
No.
I think, and this is something that I lost my key.
Blockchain key.
The blockchain key. I lost my $500, which now would be worse. The funny thing is, it'd be worth less than $500 now.
Yeah.
But I lost my access to that. Like, in Bitcoin is I don't know. Bitcoin is not real.
Yeah.
It just is. I just don't think you can trust it.
It's an investment, just like any other stock, and it can go up or go down. That's the thing. Bitcoin was not an actual currency. It was an investment that they traded for real items sometimes, but most people never really actually did anything with it. They were hoping that it would just be an investment and they could make a ton of cashing it out. And now, like,
yeah. NY Monty fan says I should be going to pro sports games. No, you should be. I'm telling you, date nights and spending time together is critical. Kenai says, NY Monty fan, make her feel like she is irreplaceable. And I actually think I do. I try to do a good job of that. I try to do little things.
Yeah. But when you talk about like love languages, like, I don't know, people know what, but like mine is acts of service. Like, let's, I'd be thrilled if you were like, hey, we need to clean up the leaves outside. Let's go do that.
Instead, I'd rather call the landscaper and have
you
him
would
come
rather
do it.
spend $500 on a landscaper.
Exactly right. They lost more than $300,000. That's just the amount they were admitting to. Oh, I would agree with that.
For sure.
I would agree with that 100%. Greg Hawkins says, if I lose $1,500, I'll say I only lost $500. No doubt about that.
Nobody's ever going to own up to it.
Yeah, and Greg's like, that's why I don't gamble anymore. Exactly right. Tom says, DraftKings tried to sell to FanDuel, but the government stopped it. If DraftKings doesn't sell, they'll die. I don't think so.
Really? Their revenue is still $2 billion.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I would agree with that. Boyd Lake says, with big companies like that, you're also talking about investors, including 401k, not just the hedge funds. Truth. NY Monty fan says, I'm gone so much. I love being home, truly, but give me some credit. I wish I was out every night eating at Ruth's Chris and going to movies or sports games, but I can't. Got to make that bread. Yep, absolutely.
What do you do? What does he do?
Aren't you NY Monty fan? I think he's an over-the-road truck driver.
Oh, is that true?
I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do, NY Monty fan? Skeet says, I don't have any children that I want to know about. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. Tom says, my job sends sample phishing emails to test my ability not to get phished. Yelp used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And again, what Mrs. Monty said, if your bank or your job or somebody's like, hey, I need you to click this link and log in, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Go to their app. You just can't. You can't. Alex Chacon says, Jake will fall for it if email is from Netflix. Yeah.
I don't have time for Netflix. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
But what happened to your Netflix? You got fished or something?
Yeah, I open an email. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, Kenai laughed. Exactly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Giggity says, take her back to the painting and drinking date night. I loved that.
I think here's the problem. We've been so busy. And I think that those things are changing. And I think that, work life, to me, I'm beginning to value work-life balance more and more. Like, yes. I think you can't just, it's unrealistic to just work and work and work and work. You can't do that. That's not going to work out for you. I think
that we allow our business life to overtake our personal life.
Yeah, and that can't happen. And
I think that's absolute. I think in my situation, I think that's why I haven't been doing what needs to be done at the house. Like I'm just not there enough.
Yeah. Well, I
mean, and I give you, credit for that. Like, I know you haven't been home.
Yeah.
But I hadn't said like, hey dude, I need a break until I was like, all right, I need a break.
Yeah. And I think, the interesting thing is the vet said to us about the cocoa with my dog, your dog needs to walk more. Take your dog on more walks. So the other day I was like, hey, let's take the dog around the block.
Yeah.
I'm not, I see the comments about me being a terrible husband. I'm actually not.
He's not.
I'm actually not.
If he was, it would have been a much worse situation.
Yeah. Lopez fan Gabe says any show with Mrs. Monty is automatically 134.7% better. It's science.
Oh, I love that you did the math on that.
And she's a science fanatic. Tom says it's a good reminder to be vigilant. NY and I work for annoying big companies. Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Kurt Meyer says, cut down the tree, Tim. Why haven't you done this already? Because we're debating about a pre-lit tree versus a natural tree. And we should just... And you know what? Ryan Kanasowicz, the head coach of the Utah Grizzlies, and I had this conversation the other day.
Mm-hmm.
His wife and he were going to go cut down a tree. His chainsaw was broken, whatever. But he's like, it's not that you have to go cut the tree down. 9 times out of 10, you got to go hike a mile into the snow in the mountains to get it. And it is cold and it is snowy and I would do it. I mean, I would do it once. But you got to drag that tree out. And Mrs. Monty's not let's get a 3-foot tree. No. She wants like the Kennedy Center Honors flipping tree. She doesn't. I'm kidding. But honestly, I'd rather pay $300 and get a decent pre-lit tree.
Well, they're not $300, so.
They're not. So they're more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, hopefully they last. I mean, ours has lasted a long time, right?
It has.
About $400, and that was in 2015. So that's, good full 7 years.
NY Monty fan says, go cut down a Christmas tree in my hometown of Camas.
That's actually where I was looking at if we were going to cut down a tree was in Camas. So thanks for saying that.
Yep. Acts of service. That's what we're talking about. Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of acts of service.
I'm going to do that.
It's a different kind, though.
Different service.
You would like certain acts of service. I would like other kinds of acts of service.
No phones on date night. #1 cardinal rule. Yeah. And I've actually feel like I've done better at night. Like not being on my phone as much, trying to initiate conversations. Like last night, just sitting on the couch, I put my phone down and I was like, hey, how did this go? Or how did your day go? Or just having minutia conversations, I think is really important. Yeah. San Diego State says DraftKings FanDuel equal Bob Kraft and Jerry Jones, major investors. Yep. Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
Seriously. Jesse Harsh says, dude, I'm so single, the bots stay away from me. Why are you so single?
Have you tried not to be?
Yeah. What's up with that? Boyd Lake says, I went out with the kids and cut our Christmas trees. Great memories. And we should do it. We don't have a chainsaw is the other thing. Everybody that I've talked to about this says, you got to have a hot saw. You got to have a chainsaw. Because it's like 10 degrees and you're trying to wiggle through with a flipping aluminum sword.
Yeah, you got to have a chainsaw.
Not what you should be doing.
An aluminum sword.
Do you guys understand that Thanksgiving is 2 days away?
Not really, no. To be honest with you, no.
Do you guys get that? Thanksgiving is 2 days away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how did that happen? I don't know how to control my life anymore. And I'm not trying to be like all introspective, deep thinker guy. I have no idea how to slow down life. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I think slowing down life is creating those moments. I mean, that's what you have to do. That's what I'm saying. Like the past probably 90 to 100 days for us has literally been just working every day, basically.
I remember being in Hawaii and thinking, man, I've got all kinds of time until Christmas. And now I don't remember being in Hawaii and Christmas is like 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And I don't know. This is the other thing, by the way. We agreed not to buy each other Christmas gifts, and Mrs. Monty bought me like a ton of Christmas gifts. She broke the rules. So
I don't know anyone who's done that in past years.
I don't do that ever.
Right. Yeah.
I don't.
No.
I'm kidding. Anyway, all right. Jake got us burritos, by the way, Mrs. Monty. See, look at the head turn. See the angle,
starving,
the
dude.
axis.
I'm starving. Like literally starving.
I gotta go.
Okay, goodbye. Good to see you. I appreciate you joining us.
I miss everybody.
Okay, see you soon. There you go. Mrs. Monty joins the show, which is presented by our good friends at the Advocates, UtahAdvocates.com. Again, the Advocates remind you to have a really safe Thanksgiving. The roads are always crazy. Please, please, please drive sober. Please do not drive distracted. And if you get hit by a distracted driver, get to UtahAdvocates.com. They are ready, willing, and able to serve you. They're the best injury attorneys in the business. Find them online, UtahAdvocates.com. And the Advocates remind you, enjoy your Thanksgiving. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. We'll see you on Monday. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.